All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is day 6 of our live trading series. I think I'm gonna premiere this one on YouTube. That way I can interact in the comments if people have questions or whatnot about what I'm doing. But we're gonna be trading on Lyra. First and foremost, let me get this out of the way. Lyra is not sponsoring this video. They've not sponsored this series. I just use their platform. There will be a affiliate link in the description if you want to check it out. However, just know this: I'm also not endorsing or telling you that you should go start selling or trading options. This is just one of the strategies that I use in crypto. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a cryptocurrency enthusiast. This is my real, this is my real account. This is actually what I'm doing with part of my portfolio, no question about it. All right, we're going to get into this real quickly. Let me just first get started. By the way, just to give you a heads up, I'm actually traveling, so I'm using my VPN right now. I use TorGuard. Somebody's going to ask that. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check out TorGuard. I think that's an affiliate link too. But TorGuard is super cheap. It's like I pay for the, I think I pay for the 3-year plan now, and it comes out to like less than 30 bucks. When I did it, it was less than 30 bucks a year. And there, I think I have a promo link that is 50% off. If I remember to add that, I'll add that in the link down below as well. But gonna light up a cigar, start my morning. Look, I don't smoke cigars every morning at all. I usually only smoke a cigar about once a week, maybe twice a week when it's nice weather out. But I'm traveling for business right now, and I'm staying in an Airbnb, and the mornings are just so nice out here. Overlooking a golf course. I don't even like to play golf, so I like to light up a cigar, grab a cup of coffee, make my trades, record these videos for you. By the way, if you're curious, I'm smoking a Casano 18 Connecticut. It's a great cigar. And if you've never smoked a cigar before and you want to try one, it's definitely a good starter cigar. Great morning smoke. Rule of thumb for those of you that aren't cigar smokers, you start with if you're going to smoke more than one cigar during the day, you start with a lighter, smoother cigar first, and then you smoke the heavier cigar later. I'm just puffing on it here, making sure it doesn't go out on me. Okay, got my cup of coffee. Let's go and get started. Let's look at some options. By the way, I'll say this real quick. If you saw my last video I did, I was talking about yield, and I went in more details. I'll just, quickly show you here. I'm earning 17% on wrap stake ETH plus 3% on the actual staking rewards. This is their covered call strategy. You can go watch my last video if you want more details on that. Plus, I'm getting access to all of these potential airdrops. This is a confirmed airdrop by Lyra. It's a confirmed airdrop that's going to be coming. As you can see, these are the total points I've earned in this round, and they keep collecting points. Most of the points come from fees. The other points come from what you've deposited. And yeah, so there's that. All right, now we're looking at our actual portfolio. This is the first time I've seen the portfolio this morning. I knew it was nothing crazy because I saw the ETH price. This is looking good. This is looking real good overall. We are up $96 today, and let's double. These are the only two positions that could be in any trouble. Obviously, let's double check these deltas. 26 strike price, 26 put, 2600 put, expiring on July 26th. So 2626 options, July 26th. We'll go to puts, July 26th. Okay, 15 delta. Keep in mind, we don't get nervous. We don't do anything until we get about a 30 delta. That's good. Yesterday, this was sitting at about a 20, 21 delta at one point. So we like to see those deltas go down. Over time, if price stays the same, the deltas go down anyway over time. And the closer we get to the strike price, the deltas go down faster and faster and faster. So, by the way, this is part of a whole series on my channel. I'll make certain now have the whole series down in the description or on the end screen of this video. You can get caught up. And let's just take a quick look at the other one. It doesn't look like it's in trouble, but it's further out. So it's 3,800 call. Call means that's a bearish play. We're at 3,800. So we want the price to stay below 3,800 when we sell the call. We're selling options, not buying. I don't buy options. I don't want to say never, but generally speaking, I don't buy options. And that was August 30th. That's a long way out there. Let's take a look at that call. That was a 3,800 call. Yeah, that's one to pay attention to. See, that's sneaky. It doesn't look like it's in trouble, but it's sitting at a 22 delta, and that's because the price has moved up a little bit. So that particular one is one to pay attention to for sure. And that could cause us a little bit of problems if it doesn't go the other way. See, it doesn't look like it's in trouble at all, but keep in mind, I forget, I'd have to go back and look at the video yesterday or day before. We ended up selling that one, and it was already at a 15 or 16 delta, I think, which is, we don't usually sell options. That was part of a roll. So when our options get in, sorry for the birds, but if our options get in trouble, of course, we have to roll them out to a further date, a later date. And that's how we manage the options. And if you want to see that in action, go look back at a previous video. So here's the thing. I got $2,700 in buying power today. As these options start to expire, the margin required, or the margin that's tied up, basically gets released. So with that being said, I'm pretty good. This is the only one I need to really just kind of sort of pay attention to. So if I see the ETH price as I'm watching ETH throughout the day on my phone, if I see us get to 3,050, I'm going to go pay attention. If I see it get to any higher than that, I'll just peek in on this at some point. And if I need to, I'll do an emergency update. I'll do another video for you guys if I need to. The goal is to be able to make about $1,000 a month, and here's how I figure that out. When I'm selling options and I have my full buying power available, I can earn between 4 to 6% per month on an account. Now, when you have to roll options, it decreases your earnings. So I don't think I'm going to make $1,000 this month, but we're going to see where we end up at. I started the month with, and I always pay attention to the collateral, because keep in mind when options expire, this number will match this number as long as we don't have to, if they expire out of the money, and they are all likely to, the only one that's in trouble is this one, and it's got a 78% chance of still expiring out of the money. But if they expire out of the money, this portfolio value equals this collateral. That's it. But for now, we're going to see where we're at. We started out the month with $20,822 in collateral. We climbed up to a little over $300, almost $400 worth. But when we had all that volatility this past week, and we had to adjust positions, it was abnormal volatility. It's what happens. You know, the market dropped, what, 15% at one point on Ethereum. So we didn't even lose 10%. 10% would have been $2,000. We didn't lose $2,000. We lost $300 basically. So I'm okay with that. If I was holding Ethereum, I would have lost a lot more than that. And I'm trading a strategy that theoretically is going to produce an income. So that's phenomenal. Now the question is, what do I do with that income? I'm either going to recompound it back in. I'm going to use it to be able to diversify into another passive income strategy, or I'm going to use it and maybe I'll come over here to the yield and add some funds in there, because ultimately I would like to get, I mean, here's the deal. The yield strategy is paying upwards of 50% APY. It's just launched and I'm already at 20 something percent. So at a 50% APY, just imagine if you had 2 ETH in there, then over the course of a year, you could theoretically earn an extra ETH totally passive. That's what's incredible about these strategies, passive income strategies. It's a way to earn crypto on your crypto. And in some cases, it's crypto on your crypto on your crypto, because it's compound. It's a compounded effect. In fact, let me just show you that real quick. So I think everybody, just to create a vision, just to know what's possible. Most people don't understand how compound interest works. And I could do a whole separate video on this, but since I'm premiering this one, it may create some good conversation in the comments. So let's just say, like in my case, I'm starting out with $20,000 on this account. Theoretically, I mean, best case scenario, I could earn 6% a month. 6% a month. That's monthly. If I could do that starting only with $20,000, assuming I'm not adding any more, and you all know I periodically add 1,000 or 2,000 from other passive income sources, I just will throw that in periodically. But this is assuming that I have no more income. In 5 years, I may end up adding another 50 grand over time if I wanted to, just from other passive income sources. But let's just say 5 years. Yep, reinvest. Let's just see what would happen. Additional contributions, we've got none. No additional contributions. So let's see. Actually, let's see this. Deposit, monthly 12 months, additional contributions. Let's say we had $5,000. Not monthly. Oh, so let's say monthly we add $300. That would be fair enough. Rough estimate. In 5 years, starting with $20,000, adding $300 a month. This isn't this isn't impossible. Like I could theoretically do this. In 5 years, that's almost $1 million is what that could grow to. Now, this is assuming, by the way, let's go ahead and see what it would take to get it in 5 years. 5 years and 5 months. 1.2 million. No, let's see where we got to get to. 5 years and 2 months. There we go. Would 1 month do it? Nope. 5 years and 2 months is what it would take. What a interesting goal to shoot for. Now, in this case here, I'm not obviously paying taxes, so it's not a perfect scenario. So you could lower your earnings. And this is assuming I'm going to get 4%, 6%. But let's just say I did the low side. I only average 4%, which is more than reasonable. I mean, it's definitely more than reasonable. The truth is, there are some months I'll do over 6% even with this strategy. If I don't have to make a lot of adjustments on positions and the market's kind of moving sideways, I'll technically do 7 or 8% on some months. But 4 to 6% is reasonable. But let's just say I only do 4% a month, which averaging 4% a month is very reasonable. That's a reasonable expectation. And let's just say that we'll just keep the $300 deposit. And let's see what that takes. Big difference, by the way. Big difference, those two percentages. But let's say, all right, so let's go out to 6 years. 6 years. Let's go to 10 years. Oh, didn't need to go that high. That's the compound interest at work for you. That's how people are like, how does those last years it go up so much? It's compound interest. You can come down here and see each month the movement year to year. It's earning money on your money. So let's go to 7 years and 2 months. So we'll go 7 years, 6 months. 7 years, 7 months. Awesome. That's $1 million. Again, I'm not paying interest on this, but I'm also going to be bringing money in. If the market goes up, that's going to be working in my favor. I'll be taking some profits on my on some of my positions and maybe adding it in here as well. So there's a lot of variations. But inside of 10 years, I think it's pretty safe to say inside of 10 years. Let's say we have no additional contributions. We're only doing 20,000 and we 4%. Let's say 10 years. Oh, that's a lot. None. Make sure we go to none here. Make sure that registered. Yep. Okay, so 7 years, 7 months. There we go. 8 years, 4 months. There we go. There we go. $1 million, 8 years, 4 months. Here's the key. There's a couple keys to this working. First of all, is you can't take losses. In crypto, so many people are constantly swinging for the fences, playing the lottery. But when you have a base of a passive income strategy and you know inside of 10 years, hypothetically, that goal is going to be $1 million. Here's what's crazy. If I started out with 50,000, and this is what gets me, this is what tempts me to bring more money in crypto, if I'm going to be honest. The DJ in me is like, what? Because it cuts this time significantly in half. Maybe 5 years, 4 months, let's see. Not quite. Let's go to 6 years. There we go. That's a big difference. Oh, that's 6%, 4%, 5 years. So we'll go to 6 years. There we go. In 6 years, starting at 50,000, not 8 years, 6 years. What's 6 years? I know in crypto it feels like a long time, but there's a lot of people that have been in the market. They've been through 2 bear cycles, and they've been playing degen plays, and yeah, they've had some big wins, but they've had some enormous losses. You've got to have a couple of strategies. You've got to have your your main strategy, your HODL strategy. I don't sell this crypto no matter what, but until mass adoption. Maybe that's your Bitcoin, maybe that's your ETH, maybe it's both. Then you've got to have your passive income foundation. And that's a strategy that's going to always, 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 no matter what's going on in life outside of crypto, it's going to be producing some income over time that you can, reallocate, that should be able to earn consistent income. Now, this is what I like about selling options. But here's the problem. A lot of people get started. They're like, I don't have $20,000. So they get started with, say, $1,000. And when they get started with $1,000, they're like, making 40% on $1,000 is only $400. I get it. But then making 40% on that $1,400 matters. And that's like $1,900. Then 40% on that $1,900 is closer to $800. And you don't understand how it compounds. And the most important thing is not to lose. Even if you're making 4%, 4% on $1,000, that's only $40. But ask yourself, but if it's $40 a month you're making, and you're like, the way you become work optional is you look at what is your hourly rate. If your hourly rate is $20 an hour, then you've already got 2 hours of your month covered. $1,000, and you're able to earn $40 a month consistently on that $1,000, then you've got 2 hours of your month covered. Eventually, when that gets to 2,000 and you've got $80, now you've got 4 hours of your month covered. And if you make $10 an hour, you've got 8 hours of your month covered. The goal to become work optional, which for most people is a day, now you've got 1 day covered. You keep going. If you keep putting up $1,000 on an altcoin and you keep losing it, you're never able to get yourself in a position where you're work optional. That's the phrase. I've been using this phrase most of my adult life when I've been talking with clients. You've got to get to a place where you're at work optional. And when I say clients, I do a lot of business training and business coaching, and I'm always telling them beyond business, it's not all about how much money you make in your business. It's what you do with that money to get that money going to work for you. And that is true even in crypto. You've got to get that money going to work for you. So don't sneer because you feel like, oh, I'm only making 40% a year. No, that's better than making 200%, but then having to lose your initial capital in the process. So, and it doesn't mean that, by the way, selling options is foolproof and you couldn't get wrecked. But I trade relatively conservatively. I'm confident in what I'm doing. I'm confident in my abilities and my track record. That's why I'm trading this live in public over here with Lyra. But someone commented, like, oh, you're only making 60%. Best case scenario. Well, best case scenario, I'm actually probably doing about 80%. But yeah, we'll say 60%. We'll say 50%. We'll say 40%. The truth is, I'm okay with 30% actually. I mean, I would prefer much higher, but I can live with 30% if I as long as it's 30% on top of the initial capital that I started with. That's the key. Because at some point, if I keep stacking this, if nothing else than me just stacking, even if I bring fiat in at some point, that's $100,000. At $100,000, 30% is 30 grand. And that's pretty good. Most people would love to earn an extra 30 grand a year. So, and then it starts compounding at a crazy rate. The problem is you can't be degen on the way to the 100 grand. You've got to do your best to get your first $1,000 working for you. Then focus on your next 10,000, even if that includes bringing in money in periodically. And then at some point, you want to focus on getting that $100,000 mark. If you're in a third world country, outside of the U.S., outside of the U.K., outside of Australia, you get $10,000 put together, you can start making some really, really reasonable income, like that can start to have a positive impact every month in your life. And you can start speeding up your investment plan pretty quickly. If you're in the US, Canada, Australia, the UK, like the big 5 English-speaking countries, quote unquote democracies around the world, if you're in those countries and the number's 100,000, get to 100,000. And it's a game changer. It is an absolute game changer from that point forward. Most people don't put into work to get to that initial 100,000. All right, I did not know I was going to go here. Hopefully this has been helpful because I want you as a viewer, a subscriber, I want you to win in life. I want you to win in life. I genuinely want you to win in life. I believe that we all have a purpose. We all should be living a higher life than we're living now, a better life than we're living now. But even in our finances, it just takes work. And people are like, oh, finances aren't everything. No, they're not. But they are freedom. They are the ability to free up your time to be able to do more things you want in your life that can have a positive impact on others. All right, I'm stepping off my soapbox. I didn't know I was going here. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you've liked this content. Smash that like button if you're still watching. If you haven't followed my entire series, most of my videos are much shorter than this. Feel free to go and watch those videos. And if it'll start to make sense as you start watching what happens. As you start seeing options start out red and then start to turn green, it starts to make sense for you. Those of you who still aren't understanding, anytime you sell an option, you increase your collateral. But if you close the option too soon, you lose your collateral. It takes it back. But if you wait till that option expires, you get the full value of the option here, and it expires worthless, and you get to keep your collateral. All right. By the way, if nothing else, you might as well hop in and get in on the earn a little bit of yield. Start here if nothing else. If you don't understand options, they do it for you. They're basically doing it for you, earning up to 50%. It's not without risk. I covered the risk in the previous video. I'll put it on the end screen as well. I'm currently earning 21% APY. Thanks for watching. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out. I'll also put the yield video down in the description.